Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and it is time once more for our weekly painting progress. So this week, as I've been left to my own devices at home, I've been plowing away at getting work ready for work, and in every free moment, basically, I am painting. And it's been a lot of models that have been sitting in front of me that I started. Could be a week ago, could be a year ago, could be even longer than that, but they're finally getting done. So here is Hanzo from Ninja All-Stars or Super Dungeon Explorer, and I still am not a big fan of the slotted bases that they used, where the slot doesn't really match up with any of the details on the base. So we just went with a very boring dry brushing on it, but he is pretty much done. His eyes look decent enough. There is some highlighting involved there, and he is good to go for Super Dungeon, Arena, or Explorer. And along with him, we got one of the Eagle Clan heroes finished. Now, this guy I've had sitting in front of me forever, and he's good enough. Same issue with the base. They don't really match up. So we just kind of match the colors, and he didn't have a lot of surface detail, and I'm not 100% happy, but I figure, you know what, he's done. He's painted. We'll move on. So those two aside, other little things we did this week. A random, and I mean totally random, Coruscant alien. I don't remember the name of this race. Like little salamander dudes. But he's finished. Other random things that we got painted this week. Oh, here's random for you. A leftover Mantic plastic dwarf. Shieldbreaker, hammer, I don't remember what they're called, but they had those weird kind of stretched out proportions where the mold is supposed to go, and it just, there's some odd things going on, but he's painted, and I figure, you know what, I've got enough of the resin dwarves at this point, we can put together a quick and easy dwarf warband, and we'll be good to go, with a boring blue tunic. But I think the rest I'm going to do in red. I don't know. I still have to paint my Dwarf King's Hold, and I figure at the rate I'm going, I probably can get this done before I actually have to set foot back in work. And along with the dwarves, we got a couple more of the Conquest Flame Berserkers done. Yeah, they look pretty similar. There are little details that differentiate them. They all have their various bizarre mechanical parts there. They have a weird gray skin tone I use, but they're done. Let's see what else. Other little things. Forest Goblins. I did a couple of Forest Goblins. Actually, I did a few more than that's what got sealed this week. We have my little custom one with a blowgun. I really wish they'd had a blowgun included on the sprue. It seems like such a no-brainer, but thankfully I had some Frostgrave parts for it. They're not bad little kits, and at first glance, I'd thought that the bodies didn't have much detail, but there's lots of little bones, the nipple rings, bones through the nose. There's lots of little nice touches to these guys. A little bit of war paint on this guy. They definitely do the job. My current leader one, I guess. Little armor bits on his back there. We did a test V-Rai. I went with a very plain, basic, boring paint job. It's like 3 colors, the base, the highlight, and the metallics. But, you know, it is what it is. It gets the job done. I figure I'll spend more time on the bigger, funkier stuff. Let's see what else. Random things. A random Arena Rex model. I think I mentioned this before. He's been pretty much done. I just need to find his shield. I found it, and then I didn't bother to actually prime it. I haven't primed anything since there's so many models I already have primed that I can work on. So when we get to it, we'll get to it. We'll glue it on him. But he's done. That finishes off the Ludus Magnus School, and now I actually have 2 painted full schools, so we will move ahead with that. We have our Inquisitor friend here from Privateers Order of Illumination. The Morrowind practitioners. Makes a great Inquisitor type model with not a whole lot of necessary customization there. I did paint her face. It's super difficult to see it. I can lighten it up. There it is, hidden away. But it is painted. Let's see what else. Lots of random stuff this week. I guess another privateer model will do. This is Black Bella, and even though she's called Black Bella, she has barely any black on. In fact, I think most of her clothing is actually white. Not my choice, but I liked the paint job that they had on the card. I haven't seen an actual painted model with the purplish hair. For whatever reason, my lighting is not doing as nicely as it should be today. I want to say she just needed to have the blades glued in the hands, and that was about it. All right. I think that's it for... Oh, no. I was going to say that's it for the metal models. It's not. I finally got this Mirce Minotaur finished. I've had him. He was sitting unpainted. He was in some of my very first videos I ever posted. But he's finally done. And I don't know how many times I repainted him. I was never happy with it. So we just went with a very boring, plain, basic paint scheme. He's not the biggest Minotaur. But then again, I don't think he was ever meant to be. He's finished, though, and it was a nice sense of accomplishment with that. One of the Shield Wolf heroes of the Empire or Kingdom, I believe. The Kingdom of Talarium, or something like that. And I just realized I did not bother to seal the paint on his Sorceress Companion, and she's totally finished. So, whoops. We'll have to deal with that. Simple paint job, but it works. He's done. I don't know why I put him on a round base either, because it totally makes sense to keep him on a square one and use him for something like Kings of War Vanguard or something, but whatever. All right, a Verge of War Space Pirate. I think I put this guy up on Instagram earlier this week. I really dig this sculpt. This is one of their human space pirates. There's a couple of other alien races that they use, but he is a big dude. And the detail really came through, I thought, too. I like the real deep cuts and grooves of his armor there. And tried to brighten it up so you guys can at least see some of that. And like I said, he's a big model. Probably bigger than a GW Terminator. He's on a 40mm base, too. Let's see. What other random stuff we got? A random No, that's not a jailbird. A Howling Jackal, I believe, from Raging Heroes. This was just one of the most ridiculous models in the lineup, so she had to be the first one painted. She's got a chain with a bunch of knives attached to it. Why would I not want to paint that? I don't think I've actually painted an official Escher model yet. I've painted more third-party company models than I have actual Eschers. Now this is a jailbird, and this was from the Toughest Girls in the Galaxy, also from Raging Heroes. And I never could get that face right. I have actually repainted her face on at least 3 occasions now. I tried it with the eyes open, with the eyes shut, and I just went with the eyes shut because that's what it shows on the official painted version. And every time I painted her with eyes, she looked like an old lady. She still looks like an old lady. I don't know what I can do about that. Everything else looks all right. I like the flapping rags. I was going to say, are they supposed to be flags? I don't know. They're there. Okay, other random things. Part of the Axabalan Empire models for the Shadow Sea starter sets. I figured I'm going to start working on this. My son has expressed interest in giving it a try, and it's not like I don't have a million other antimatter models laying around, but she was a quick paint up. I tried to start everything with just contrast paints from GW and work my way up from there, but we did mix a bit of other companies' paints in as well. If you're curious, Antimatter actually has a Kickstarter currently going on called The Uncharted Realms and has all kinds of STL files available if you are into that kind of thing. I know I certainly am going to be keeping an eye on that. Let's see, do I have any other? Oh, here. Another random Raging Heroes model. This is one of their Death Dancers who has 5 hands because reasons. Reasons that I have no idea what they are. Look at those mold lines. Yeah, they were really bad on this model. And this model was so delicate and susceptible to breaking that I just gave up trying to clean them and said, forget it. And I just went ahead and started painting her. When you get all the other Death Dancers together, they're just kind of going every which way. And they are just an absolute issue trying to keep in one piece. I don't know how many times I've either broken this hand or some of those daggers off. A lot. And she was one of my actual Kickstarter models. Got her during the Kickstarter. Okay. This big dude here, this is the Red Angel model, who I can't even keep zoomed in because he's just too large, from RTLW. And I have not seen this guy painted really anywhere, or at least any painted example. So I stuck one on Instagram, and I'll probably stick one on Daka, just so other people can see that, yes, there is a painted version. And I really dig it. I like his quasi-legionnaire-looking armor. I forget the name of his axes. I was going to say Gore Chosen, but that's something totally different. I know they have a special name. And anyway, I kind of wish I had done the axes in red too. And I probably need to put more deeper highlights on that cape of his. It has a weird texture where I think it's actually supposed to be skin of some sort, but I just went ahead and painted it red because why not? He is the Red Angel after all. And for a very basic utilitarian paint job, I think it came out pretty decent, and there was a good mix of color in there as well. And just in case you're curious just how big he is, I mean, I'm not kidding around when I say he's a big guy. So yeah. And he's pretty affordable too, if you're curious. If you're in the mood for Primark models that aren't actually in Primark mode where they've joined their Legion, because obviously this is when he's supposed to be on his planet of gladiators or wherever Angron was supposed to be. I don't remember how the story goes, but yeah, that's kind of what that's supposed to be. All right. More random stuff. I promised my brother, and he didn't believe me, that I'd actually be able to get it finished in time, but that I was going to paint one of these Artisan Guild Amazons up like Tyrus Flare from Golden Axe. And while it was a bit sloppy paint job, I feel like I did a reasonable job of getting the correct aesthetic for her, that white with the red trim. So ha. Plus, it was actually a really fun model to paint up. It was very simple. Not a whole lot of complex parts to it. You know, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I'm happy she's done. She looks nice. Cool model. Finally, what else we got? We have the Messenger of the Spiral Path, who obviously is supposed to be inspired by Kamina from Gurren Lagann. And I went with a very basic paint job, and once more, the lighting does not show any kind of detail whatsoever or depth to the colors that I used, but it is what it is. He actually has a modeled right hand hidden away in there that I actually painted. You can kind of see it right there. I did make sure to get that thing painted prior to sticking him on a base. So he's done. Another Kingdom Death model, the Hospitaller. I like this model, and it took me a while to finally have the courage to paint her up, but she turned out okay. The frills on the bottom of her dress were really thin in some areas, and I had to stick a little bit of green stuff in there to balance it out, but I do like this pose. I like when we have Kingdom Death models that actually have clothing on sometimes. Speaking of models that have clothing sometimes, well, this model doesn't have any because she's lying comatose on the floor. This is the Sci-Fi Savior. I messed up the head on, but I think it turned out okay. And okay is alright with me. I definitely could have done better, but she's finished. I shouldn't have glued her together. I think this is one of those models that I probably should have used some blue tack for the video and then gone ahead and glued her after painting, because I got sloppy there, but I don't care. From a distance, it looks okay. And finally, the last piece of this bizarre menagerie this week is the Cyclops Knight from Kingdom Death. I went kind of Kingdom Death crazy this week. He is, as far as I know, a resin-only model, and I have not seen an encore run of him ever. So I figured it's time to get mine painted and shown off. I put way too much glue paint on his central eye, and I did a terrible job of trying to green stuff his cape together. It was really bad with a huge gap down the middle that did not want to glue together. I also have repeatedly broke off the very tip of his sword I think, since I've owned it. And I had painted it, and it snapped off again. It snapped off 2 times prior, so finally I said, forget it. He can just go without it, and it looks okay. He is definitely a different looking model from Kingdom Death. I like the eyes going all across his cape there. So yeah, he is painted. I am one of the few that I think I know of, at least, that's got him done. So overall, a absolutely ridiculous amount of finished models this week. But again, there's been plenty of time to get them done, so there's no excuse. Hopefully all of you out there are getting some good quality hobby time in as well. I'm at a point now where I've had so much free time that I have a backlog of videos already filmed at this point. So I'm just going to have to start sticking those up, because otherwise I'm never going to get back on track with the newer stuff that I'm getting. So we'll watch some of the older videos that I've actually recorded and never shown yet this week, and we'll mix some new stuff in as well. But definitely a fun pile of stuff. Hopefully you guys are all getting your stuff painted, and when we all get the okay and the all clear and everybody's healthy enough to go hang out and socialize once more without the distancing, we are all going to have the most fantastically painted armies on display for some time being. So with that said, this is High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching. If I can manage to get all that done and still do my work and keep my kids from killing each other, you guys should be doing the same. I'll see you all later, and hopefully you stay safe and healthy out there. Bye-bye.